This is a positively charged hemispherical shell. So there are charges on the surface out here, uniformly distributed. At point P, the electric field is given to be E, but the direction is not given. Whichever direction it is, the vector notation for that is E. We are asked what is the electric field at the point Q, which is given by 0 minus Y. If you take a general point inside G, the question is what is the electric field only in the Y component. So in this direction, is it downwards? Is it upwards? If you take a point on the base out here, then in the horizontal direction, that is in the plane of the base, what's the direction? Is it towards the center, pointing away? By symmetry, we can say it's either to the center or away. So what is that electric field? Only one clue is sufficient to solve this problem. If you were to bring a lower hemisphere, which is similarly charged, and complete this sphere, then we know the net field inside a spherical shell must be equal to 0, and that's from shell theorem. So that's the only clue needed to solve this problem. By symmetry, we know that the electric field at E could point downwards or upwards. So let's assume one of the directions. Let's say it's downwards. It makes no difference to the final answer, and that is denoted by the vector E. The point Q below is symmetric to the point P, but to the lower hemisphere. So let's make a copy of the upper hemisphere and rotate it. After rotation by 180 degrees, if we were to bring the lower hemisphere and complete the sphere, we know that for all points inside the sphere, the electric field should be 0. The point P now in the lower hemisphere is exactly like the point Q in the problem. So that's Q. The electric field now here is pointing in the upward direction. There we are assumed it downward. When you rotate it, it looks like it's in the upward direction. At P, it's called E and it's in the downward direction. And at Q, it looks to be in the upward direction. Therefore, this must be called minus E. Now, if you bring this back here and complete the sphere, the net electric field at Q, we know must be equal to 0. That comes from shell theorem. Already it has an electric field minus E, that is due to the lower hemisphere. Now, due to the upper hemisphere, there must be an equal and opposite electric field, and that must be in the downward direction, and therefore it must be in the direction of E as it is at P. Electric field at Q due to the upper must be equal to E. Let's look at the general point G inside the upper hemisphere. If you consider only the lower hemisphere, then the point G is somewhere over there. The lower hemisphere is positively charged. And if you consider any particular charge out there, that is going to set up an electric field at G which points in that direction. Similarly, take some other point out here, that's going to set up an electric field in that direction. So all the electric fields at G coming from this lower hemisphere must give a component in the Y direction. Remember, we are interested only in the Y component of the electric field. The Y component of the electric field at G due to the lower hemisphere must be some number along the positive direction of Y axis. Similar to the argument with the point Q, if you were to bring the southern hemisphere out here and finish this complete sphere, the net field there must be 0. Already we have some electric field that's in the upward direction that comes from the lower hemisphere. Therefore, the electric field at G from the upper hemisphere must be the same number, but in opposite direction. Therefore, it's along the minus Y direction. So from this, we can conclude that for any point G, anywhere inside the northern hemisphere out there, the electric field in the Y direction must be downwards. Let us look at the final point B on the base. The electric field at B could point in towards the center of the circle or away from it. Now, it cannot have a tangential component out there. Why is that? If it were to have a tangential component, then every point on the circle out here would have a tangential component. That would be a non-conservative field, because if you took a charged particle around in that circle, the net work done would be positive, and that would be non-conservative. In electrostatics, we cannot have a non-conservative field. For that, you need a changing magnetic field. So the only direction it can point to is either inwards or outwards along the radial direction. Let's assume it's inwards and continue with that. So this time we are going to think of the mirror image of the northern hemisphere and create the southern hemisphere. So we create the mirror image, the point B will still be at this point and the vector will still point towards the center. So the electric field at B due to the northern hemisphere is towards the center, due to the southern hemisphere is also towards the center. So if you bring them together and form this sphere, both of them will add up and will give a non-zero field. They cannot cancel out each other. Therefore, the only way we are going to get zero is that the electric field at B in the plane of the base must be equal to zero. That is to say that for all points on this surface out here, there is no electric field along the surface of this base. So if you take a point out here and move to this point, there is no electric field along this surface. Therefore, the potential at these 2 points are identical. That's for every point on this base out here. So this base is an equipotential surface.